Well, it is an exciting day for us here at TransLink as the TransLink Board of Directors has announced our new CEO, Kevin Quinn, and we are so lucky to have him join us here for a quick introduction. Hello.
Hi, thanks for having me.
How are you doing? Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, it's big. It's big, but I'm incredibly excited, really excited for the opportunity to serve TransLink, to serve the Vancouver region. Excited to bring some good enthusiasm and energy to TransLink. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
So you are currently the administrator and CEO of the Maryland Transit Administration, a role you've held since 2017. And of course, the MTA is one of the largest multimodal transit systems in the US. So tell me, what made you decide to make this change, to come to a new country and to lead TransLink as the new CEO?
Sure. So first, TransLink is really known throughout the industry as having just a top-notch transit system and a really amazing team. You've made some great investments over the past few years, and so I think you're really poised for success. Everyone knows about TransLink's increase in ridership that was happening post-COVID, and so I think you're at a great spot to come out of kind of post-COVID and look for some ridership growth. Another piece that's really key for me is full disclosure. So I am a complete transit nerd. My background's in planning, and I love just talking schedules and frequencies and bus stops all day long. I could do it all day. And so I really love and appreciate the way that TransLink has used data to improve performance and improve the customer experience. And I think a third piece for me is just there's a very similar mode profile between TransLink and MTA in Maryland. So in Maryland, we have bus, light rail, metro, paratransit, commuter bus, and commuter rail throughout the state of Maryland. And I think just with some good background of all of those modes of transportation, I think I can bring some new energy and some new ideas to the role.
You kind of touched on this. You have extensive experience in both public and private sector when it comes to transportation and planning. And you have a master's degree in public policy from Johns Hopkins University. So what's your vision for transportation in the future?
I think it really lies in every agency's ability to meet the needs of the region, right? Ridership has traditionally been the benchmark for transit systems. And I think that's going to continue to be a benchmark. But, during COVID and as we're coming out of this, I think what's really going to be key is how is TransLink serving the needs of the region? How is it serving those that are still relying on transit that don't have that ability to work from home? We need to really focus on speeding up bus service. We've got to make that bus service as competitive as we can to auto traffic. We've got to offer the right types of fare products, flexible fare products. We've got to look at when people are traveling. So the times that people are traveling, the frequencies, the duration, those are all different during COVID. And, our measure of success is really how nimble can we be in adjusting service to meet the demand that's out there today. And, again, I think it's going to be all around how is TransLink meeting the needs of the region? And we're going to make sure that it is.
During your time at the MTA, you have overseen the development of customer-facing real-time tracking technology, the introduction of the agency's first mobile payment app. Tell me about some of your greatest achievements and some of those, more difficult challenges that you faced.
Sure. So I think certainly one of the biggest ones is the introduction of real-time technology, as you noted. We rolled that out back in 2018 on our local bus system, and then in 2019 on commuter rail and on commuter bus. And I think, on the passenger-facing side of things, on the external side of things, passengers suddenly get so much information in the palm of their hand. I think what gets overlooked, though, is the great internal treasure trove of information that is now available to the organization to build better schedules, to build schedules from real-time data. And again, improve that performance, improve that reliability. That was a big one for us and has really helped to really dramatically improve the reliability of the system here in Baltimore. In terms of challenges, I think it's got to be COVID. I think it's tough to say that any transit agency was really prepared for this, that any of us were really prepared for the impact this pandemic would have on our lives. And so, for all transit agencies, it's been a real focus on our frontline employees, our frontline staff, being sure they have the right PPE. In Baltimore, we were able to set up a vaccination clinic on site for our employees that was very successful. I think, as I'm coming to TransLink, I think we're going to try to replicate some of these good successes that we've had fighting COVID and meeting those challenges.
There are more than 8,000 employees across TransLink and its operating companies, and they've been incredible. They're integral to moving our region and keeping it going. But we've seen this more over and over again throughout this pandemic, just, how essential they are to keeping our region moving. As someone who prioritizes employee engagement, what message do you have to employees today?
Yeah, I think my main message is I want to hear from you. It's a big priority of mine to connect and to hear from employees. I come from a real core philosophy that focuses on employee and rider safety, trust, and worth. It's really this idea that we have to do everything that we can to convey to our employees that we care about their safety, that we're taking actions that demonstrate that we care about their safety. And also trust. We've got to build trust in the organization, and trust means that we show up and we follow through on what we say, and that our riders can trust us, that they know we're going to put out a reliable schedule and we're going to meet that schedule every single day. And also worth, this idea that people have ideas and they mean something, and we're going to do something with their ideas. And our employees, those employees that have been on the front lines, the true heroes during COVID, we've got to hear from them, and we have to follow through on their ideas. They have the best ideas ever. They are right there on the front lines every single day. And I think we've got to create the programs and the right situations where we can hear from them appropriately.
And, in addition to the pandemic, 2020, 2021 has been a difficult year, especially when it comes to racial awakening, both in the States and here. Of course, still so much more needs to be done. How important is inclusion and diversity to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So equity, diversity, and inclusion is a key piece of what I'd want to bring to TransLink. At MTA, we started up a very successful EDI committee that's been engaging with employees. We're also taking a look at it on the service planning side. So, when we take a look at routes, how are we including equity? And moreover, how are we being transparent with how we're including equity? It's not just about those internal processes. You've got to make that process transparent to everybody so they can see how that's working. That's been a key piece of my approach, of my philosophy. I'll certainly be bringing that to TransLink. And
you know what? I've read that you're also an avid runner. And I'm sure you've heard of the Great Trails or world famous Seawall. I'm curious to know, did you get a chance to check them out last time you were here?
So I didn't get a chance to run the Seawall. I'm very excited about it. I did get to hit some of the trails. I am an avid runner. I have done some ultra marathons, and I'm very excited to get out there. I need to get back in shape, and I'm excited. I think Vancouver is going to afford me those possibilities. So I'm very excited about that.
Absolutely. There's still so much left for you to explore, and I'm excited for you to do that when you take on your role starting July 19th, which reminds me, how are you guys getting down here?
So it's going to be a bit of a road trip from Baltimore through Seattle. I'm going to stop off and see my sister there. We'll come up and cross the border. We're going to follow all the health protocols, of course, but it'll be a road trip with my wife, my 2 kids, and my dog Pancakes. So I'm absolutely thrilled about that. It'll be a lot of time in the car together, let me tell you.
That's amazing. And then some time quarantining after that.
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
We are so excited to welcome you once the quarantine is over, and looking forward to meeting you here in Vancouver when you arrive.
Yeah. Thank you, Tina.